Okay, today is the challenge for Kathleen's COZ Creations challenge for June. And what she's asked us to do is to do a swipe of any kind that we chose. And I've chosen to do a dry swipe with some twist to it. So stick around, let's see what I come up with this one. So let's get to it. Okay, let's talk about what I'm going to do for just a second. I have already taken the liberty of putting some crackle paste down here for texture, and you'll see what I'm going to do with that later. I'm then now going to put down an ombre. It's going to go from titanium white, titanium buff light, to Van Dyke brown, and finally black, so light to dark. And I'm going to get that started real quick, and I got to stop talking and let you watch. Okay, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to mix up my paints. I think 6 colors is probably going to be plenty to do what I'm going to do next. I'm going to mix up first. I'm going to mix up my pouring medium. This is going to be 30% of Liquitex pouring medium to 70% of my Floetrol. So normally I would add a healthy dollop of GAC 800, but alas, I do not have any with me. So we're going to just do with what we have and just go for the best. I'm going to go 30% Liquitex pouring medium to 70% of Floetrol. This goober. All I'm doing is mixing it together. The GAC 800, what it does for us is it acts as a binder. Floetrol is not a binder. Although there are some binders in the Liquitex, the pouring medium, it can be dicey. But consider how little I'm going to be using of my my paints. I'm going to probably mix it a little heavy as far as pigment to pouring medium ratio. While I was pouring that in there, I thought I might have seen a little bit of a goober, so I'm going to strain it just in case. And if you see down here, there are little gooberettes, so I'm glad I did that. I'm going to strain it one more time back into the cup I started with. And I didn't get any more, so that's good. So double strain is just fine. I'll talk about the colors I'm going to do with this. I want to keep a lot of shine, and I'm going to be going for oranges, reds, yellows, and a little bit of metallic in there, so I get some shine. I may or may not put in a little bit of green gold just for a little extra pop. We will see. Start with the lightest first. This is golden nickel azo yellow. And highly pigmented paint, you don't need a heck of a lot. Doesn't sound like it, seems like it costs more when you're buying it, but in the long run, it's less expensive because you use less of it. So, yes, the craft paints will work, but you got to understand you're going to be using more of it, and frankly, that takes the cost effectiveness out. And next one I'm going to put in there is a little bit of Triart India yellow, a little bit more on the orange side. Again, Triart is a very heavily pigmented paint, but you know the golden is a heavy body, whereas the Triart is more of a fluid. I'm going to go now with Azarian Crimson hue, and that's Triart. Quickly becoming one of my favorite reds, that and Oxide Red. Then Gold Deep, or Gold Light, maybe a combination of the two, somewhere in between the two. think before that I do that, I think I am gonna go with a little bit of golden, azo gold. For no other reason than this is my favorite color, my favorite hue. It was a replacement of the nickel azo gold that all of us love so much, and it's a good replacement. It's a good job for Golden for finding something that we can be happy with. You see, I'm not using a lot of anything. Those probably is more than I need. Let's get our gold out of the way. I think I'm going to do 50-50 with this. So these are both Amsterdam products. Here people talk about Amsterdam being a less expensive alternative. It is less expensive than some paints, but it's a highly pigmented paint. All of these are going to be highly pigmented paint, and I like the Amsterdams because of the binders they have in it. Make for really good cell activators. So that's the reason I use them. I put a whole lot in there, so I'm going to have lots of leftovers on that one. Okay, and let me see. Let me flip these over. Trying to go light to dark, and that's my nickel azo gold. Okay, and this is burnt sienna. Yeah, by Golden. Again, another highly pigmented paint. Just a little dab will do you. I'm going to mix them up because I don't know for sure. This is Golden green gold. I'm hoping that it doesn't become a real problem with this palette, but we'll see. I'm not really looking for too much more than just a pop, something that's different, because I don't use this paint very often. It's got a little bit of gooberesque in it. That's a technical term. Okay, and there we have. So we have 8 or 7 colors here. I'm gonna mix these up. And like I said, I'm not mixing up a hell of a lot. It's about a 3-to-1 ratio-ish. And it's going to be done according to how it feels with the consistencies. I can put this down, and I'm going to come back in just a few minutes with mix, so you don't have to watch. Okay, let's talk about what I got here. I had to play some games with it in order to get my consistency all the same. Some of them were way too thin, and I was trying to match up with my iridescent golds over here. And so what I did to bring them up to consistency is I add just a little dab of the acrylic gel medium. This is Sax's. You can find any number of them that will work. As long as they dry clear, that's all that matters. I like this one because of the consistency. There's my colors. I'm going to put these aside. I'm going to pull up my canvas, and we'll talk about what's next. Modified. So I'm going to be laying down some color and doing a dry swipe north above that. And what it's going to give me a color gradient, because as I run out of paint, it's going to dry up and it's going to leave a feathered look. So that's at least what I'm looking for. Hope to get so that it can only come up about here, and I'll show you what the next part is going to be. I'm going to do something else down here, so don't get too nervous about that. So let me get started. Here we go. My horizon line is here. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to start it about here so that I go just a little bit above the horizon line and move it north or move it up. So layering is very important here. I need to go make sure that I am using my most opaque colors further up, because they'll be the ones that drag out. I really want my transparent colors to be on top so they shine through. Just a pop color, so I'm not going to use it all the way across. I'm going to use it on the bottom. So what I have here, some paper towels, just like Kathleen does. I wet the bottom part of it. This is titanium white, actually Liquitex titanium white, and I mixed it with 2.5-ish parts of Australian Floetrol. Let me pull that up again. and it's kind of the magic sauce that I use when I'm doing my Shelly art uh, pieces. So I know for a fact this will sell. And I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to lay down the white first. Originally I was going to just dip into it. I may still do that. I'll get down my cell activator across the bottom. Black right on top of that. This again, the same mix, the same way. Now, she talks about this pretty much in detail. What I'm going to do is I'm going to flip this around first off so I can see what I'm doing. Let me see. I'm going to dip it right into the top of the cell activator in the middle. Let it soak up just a minute, and I'm going to drag. As I go, I'm going to feel it, and then I'll just lift. Now, I am noticing that I'm really not getting as much coverage as I wanted there. I'm going to take a little bit of my pouring medium, and I'll wet the canvas just in top of that. I'm not too worried about, there's plenty of paint in there. I'm not too much worried about destroying anything over there. But I do want to get my design to flow better. So I'm just going to put that pouring medium right on top of that. Should have done this before I moved. And put a couple more lines of that. Let's spread it out just a little bit. Give me a little bit more lead on that. I need to move faster because I'm already dry. Notice what I just did are already dry. Try it again from the middle. Down, let it soak, lay it down, and bring it up. There we go. Soak and overlapping just a little bit. I'm going to flip this around. You take it down that way a little bit. Again from the middle. Get it down. And soak. Yeah, I'm not crazy about the lack of cells activator there. So I'm going to go back over just a little bit. Tuck right on top of it. Lay over just a little bit. And there isn't too much cell activity going here, but I'm not minding that because what I'm going to do on the last step of this, you'll see, it'll even that out. There's still a little bit here and still a little bit here. I'd like to see more cell action going on, but I don't know. I'll consider that. I'm going to move on to the next step. I'm going to be filling in these cracks. I saw Art by Julie do this a couple weeks ago on our Thursday train, and she filled in the cracks of her textured piece with alcohol ink. Well, I'm not really wanting to do black for that, so I'm going to be using espresso, which is a dark brown, to fill in those cracks. It's going to help make the white down here a little bit more subtle and look more like what I'm hoping earth. So I mix this together. This is 99% isopropyl alcohol. Got the brown in there. You know, I could probably, just to kick it up a notch, I could probably put some copper in there. Let's do that. Considering I already have the espresso in there. I'm going to add to that some of the scale. This is their gold. The thing with the alcohol ink, I just want the shimmer in there. That's giving me a nice copper look to it. Let's see how this works. Okay, I'm going to let that dry overnight, and I'll come back tomorrow and we'll do the next part of this. Okay, this is the day after, and as you can see, everything is dry. You can see all the cells. These cells especially are very nice. I love the black and on the white. That just for me is my favorite kind of cell. They're nice and small. Some of them up here are nice and stretched. You can see up here, they're harder to see because this is on a clear, and when I pulled it out, where it was clear is now see-through. You can see what was underneath it. A little wonky over here, but I'm not unhappy about that. The number of cells I got on the bottom, it's okay. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get all Kathleen on you, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a tree in here, and it'll go up about this far. So our tree will be about that big, and it'll be off center, and I'm okay with that. So probably right about there. So I am going to get started. Okay, that's what I have for you today. I'm hoping you got something out of this. I know that I did. It stretched me way beyond my comfort zone, and I'm not unhappy about the results. So stick around for the next person in collab, provided I'm not last, and let's see what they come up with. Bye for now.